Going on, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. I do hope you're doing well. Thank you for stopping by. My name is Paul. This is the Leeds Therapy. If you've not done so already, if you could hit the subscribe button. If you could also like the video for me as well. If you could make any comments that you want to make, feel free. Anything that you want to say, argue amongst yourselves in the comment section down below. And share the video for me as well. If you could do that, I'd really appreciate it, because it'd be good just to get it out there so the algorithm does its thing. One thing I just do want to point out just behind me here, and my dog, is the new AOF Ellen Road picture that I got. I know they did the releases with all of the furniture, with all of the clothing and everything and stuff, but I just thought that was really cool. It just fit in really well with the Bielsa picture, and then obviously that in there, and then the little Ellen Road sign down behind me as well. So just really pleased with that. I just think it looks really nice, and it just adds to the overall ambiance of the room itself. I've managed to get myself a new camera now as well, just something that's a little bit better, a little bit higher quality. So if I move like this, it'll follow me. If I move like this, it'll also follow me. It's really, really nice. I'm really pleased with it overall. So yeah, good times. So wanted to have a chat about, obviously we're getting close to the first playoff game against Norwich at home. Norwich is home, not ours, I should say. But it's Farkes' press conference that went through earlier on this afternoon, or yesterday, depending on when you're watching this video itself. So the first thing of note, or the big thing of note, is obviously that Bamford is out of both of the legs. So he has a patella injury, so on his knee, something that was undiscovered previously that's now been found. And it's disappointing for Paddy. Feel sorry for him. He can't seem to catch a break when it comes to injuries, and it puts Farke under a bit of a conundrum in terms of what he needs to do and what he should be doing, because it's decision time. Is he going to play Pirro up front, or is he going to play Joseph up front? My heart says I'd like to see him play Joseph up front, but I think he'll go with what he knows, which is Pirro up front overall. I just think that's just going to be the way that he goes. The other thing that came out of it, and I think this was after the press conference itself as well, was the fact that Connor Roberts has been training. So that's a real positive if he has been training, because it means that he can be included in the squad for two of probably the most important games so far this season, which is obviously good for us. He's got the experience. That's something that we were lacking, I think, massively in terms of the mentality side of things. So having somebody there that can shout and scream and bollock and sort of cajole everybody to get them all forward and to do what they need to do. That might mean that if Roberts does start, that might mean that it's Gray going onto the bench, although I think he has a lot of faith in Gray, so I think he will push Gray into midfield. What I would love to see, and I have to agree with Connor from One Leeds fan channel, is that I'd love to see Ampadu back in the centre of midfield, but the problem that we've got then, it's that dynamic of the defence and how that defence actually works. So do you bring Cooper in? Argue amongst yourselves about that one. Me personally, no, because I don't think he's ready. He's not ready for it. He's not played enough games overall. So what do you do? How would you work that? How would you kind of facilitate moving Ampadu into midfield? Which would be that, for me, I would bring Cresswell, put him right, and put Rode on left. I think Rodon could cope on the left-hand side. It's just whether or not he's actually going to do that. And in all honesty, I don't see him taking that big of a risk. I really don't, unfortunately. Well, I say unfortunately, it's, let's not forget that this team's gotten us 90 points this season, so it's not the worst thing in the world. So then moving forwards, I think one of the things that he was really focusing on was obviously the crowd and how much the crowd are behind them, and he's just impressed at the way that our supporters are and what they do. I mean, everybody knows that it's a given. You only need to, and I am going to say it, and I might get some pelters for it, and to be honest with you, I don't really care, but for the other teams that have been shouting about us and talking about us for the last week, I think somebody, let me just see if I can find the tweet. I'm pretty sure, bear with me 2 seconds. I'm just going to look for this tweet because I did like it, and it did make me giggle. Let me see. I'm probably not going to be able to find it now. Don't think I can. No, I don't think I'm going to be able to find it. So basically, it was a list of all of the clubs that have mentioned us over the past week, given, you know, the Leeds are falling apart again. I predict the playoffs and all of that kind of stuff. And it's just like, you only mention us because of how big we are and because it's such a big thing that we haven't done it. So we are massive. We have to face that. We have to take that. We have to take it as a positive. We have to move forward. All of these teams that are taking the piss at the moment, we have to take that and we have to inject that into our veins and use it over these next two legs, particularly in this game at Carrow Road. So, yeah, there was a big talk about that. And then also as well, he was mentioning with regards to the mentality of the players, and he was saying that there's only so much that he can do in terms of they can prep the team, get the team ready and get the team, you know, sorted in terms of, right, what you need to do, who you need to mark, where you need to be, what you need to be doing, all of that kind of stuff. They can only do so much of that from the sidelines. It's down to the players to take responsibility for those things moving forward. So things, you know, that, and he did speak on the mentality of the players, which is something that we've all been talking about, is the fact that these players, for the first time in probably in their, you know, careers, that are playing a 46 game season, which is now going to be a 48 game season, potentially 49 game season. Mentally, that's a lot to take in. And for young players, it can be difficult at times. Don't get me wrong. I think there's been times where we've been rubbish, but it's that mentality thing and the fatigue, mental fatigue is very, very difficult to overcome at times. And I think that was very evident towards the end of, you know, the season, particularly against, you know, QPR and Southampton. I think the mental fatigue had just literally gotten the better of everybody. Not to try and make excuses or, you know, the whole bottling it side of things and all of that kind of stuff, because I don't want to, I'm going to break it down at the end of the season, depending on where we're at and everything and all of that kind of stuff. So I'll probably break it down a little bit more. But overall, Farkes right in what he's saying in terms of the mentality side of stuff, that they can prepare them. It's what they do. And this is why it's so important to have those leaders on the pitch. So a Connor Roberts on the pitch shouting and screaming at everybody. Dan James even, because he's got the experience now. Just somebody there, people there that can start dragging people, kicking and screaming, and to get them up for it, and just to do a real positive thing. And it was nice to see all the lads out for something to eat as well, although our fan base, I don't know how, on Twitter had managed to spin it into something completely the opposite, because Somerville didn't have a big cheesy grin on his face. It was, oh, well, you know, he's thinking that he's elsewhere in this, that and the other. It's just like, Jesus Christ. They've just shown a picture of them together, the whole squad out for something to eat, and we're talking about everything else and making it more than what it actually is. But that's, you know, that's just typical us in the way that it goes. So I don't know how I feel about the Norwich game. I mean, we live in a bubble, don't we, as Leeds United fans? And we tend to then, because of that bubble that we see ourselves in, and because of the Leeds United bubble, if you like, we tend to have that PTSD negativity that creeps in and creeps up. Whereas, and again, I'm going to use the example of Connor from One Leeds channel, because he mentioned it, because he's interviewed a couple of Norwich fans, or a couple of fan channels, or people from fan channels, I should say. And out of all of the people in the playoffs, the one team that they weren't looking forward to playing, if they had to, was us. So maybe we need to take a bit of solace in that and just remember that we do have, in terms of the playoffs, and I don't mean this as any disrespect to any of the teams that are in the playoffs with us, statistically, we have the best squad in the playoffs. And we should try and use that as confidence to move us forwards into said game. But if I'm being honest, I will snap your hands off for a draw right now. 100%, I will take a draw now, and then we can win it at Ellen Road. That's going to do it for this one, guys. Just a little bit of almost like a preview to Norwich, if you like. And if you've not done so already, if you could hit the subscribe button, like I said earlier on in the video. If you could leave any comments that you've got, if you agree, disagree with anything that I've said, feel free. The comments have been really good on the video so far, so I appreciate that. Lots of people liking the videos and sharing it. So again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you very, very much for that. We're at, 730 odd subscribers now. So that's just, for me, it's it's really nice to see the channel progressing and growing, and obviously thanks to the channels that have helped me out with that in terms of putting me on and stuff. So I appreciate you all. But yeah, take care, and I'm going to try and get another video out before the Norwich game. But yeah, we'll see you soon. Look after each other. Take care.